Good morning. I am higher vibrations and so are you. And holy cow, have we got a lot going on. I am really excited to have my guest here with me today to share about a lot of this stuff. She actually knows a lot more than I do. I just kind of repeat information as I figure it out. But Josie Jackson here. Josie's been doing this for so long. She's a seasoned teacher, guide. She's got so much awesome information to share, and she has for so many years. A mother, a veteran. She's just got like all of this experience. One thing, just before anybody asks, she does offer sessions. She does one-on-ones and group sessions. She does. She's just a really cool, fun, down to earth energy that I've always really gotten into because so many people in the spiritual community are all like, I'm so perfect and look at me and I'm going to pretend that there's nothing wrong with me. And then the Josie comes in and she's like, y'all are just full of it, and I just love that about her and her persona and who she is. So I'm just going to say welcome. Thank you so much, Josie, for joining me today. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. I am riding high on the waves of this solar eclipse. Oh my goodness. It's lit. It is lit.
It, and we're still in it right now. I just looked; it's still occurring in the over. I'm following it over Easter Island because it's happening over
Wow.
Easter Island right now. Of course.
Yeah, I definitely feel it. And I'm sure a lot of people have been feeling it even before. Um, because they either got a boost of energy or they got really, really tired.
Yeah, yeah. And I've been feeling that tired. That one is not a joke. Oh, the level of exhaustion. It feels like I've been in an Olympic swimming competition or something.
Oh yeah. The body is just not liking the changes right now. Um, you could be doing basic stuff, going here and there, and you'll feel the burn as if you were working out. And you're like, why? Why am I feeling the burn?
Right. And there's nothing to show for it. Like I've not done anything. I'm so chill right now.
That part. So there's been a lot of the body just screaming,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like, ah, what are you doing? I'm not used to this.
right, right. And there are a lot of things happening in the celestial heaven, in the heavens right now too. I'm just crying with my like laughter. I don't know why I'm just tearing up. But like, there's the alignment that's happening right now. We've got this eclipse is in three water signs, and
What?
the yeah.
Okay, that's Western.
Okay, so yeah, no, it's not. I gotta grab that. It's my friend sent me that, and I was like, "What?" Okay, I'll pull up the picture really fast so I can tell you a little bit more. I yeah, I think it's Western.
Yeah, it have to be Western. So go
There you
ahead
go.
and give the Western information.
Okay, so there's a trine, and this is of course when it comes to water, water has to do with feelings, emotions, right? You can even find that in your dreams if you're having a lot of water dreams. Usually it's about emotions, and the water. I've been getting code about water for a little while. The element of water and the soul, the spirit of the wind, and that comes in three too. And then it turns out there was three storms. But so a lot of emotion stuff is coming up right now. A lot of like, and this is in Virgo too. So we're gonna, I mean, excuse me, Libra. And so there's a lot of like this balancing stuff in the emotion. So it's all flooding up, and then
Mhm.
and then we're like, calibrating it. We're finding
Yep,
out where it's a good place to put it, and kind of like being the grown up that we didn't do about our emotions before when they first came through,
that
and
part.
so um, and these are the alignment that's occurring with that is in tandem with this new extra moon during the new moon and the solar eclipse. And just like, and we got a X7.15 solar flare last night. All of this stuff, all for just today. I mean, if I talked about the whole month, we'd be here for 2 hours. So that's
For
that. You
sure.
go ahead on yours. Sorry, excuse me.
It's totally okay. Mentally, I'm trying to make up for the delay that I know that we have. So it's a little awkward, but it's okay. We're gonna work through it. But you were not mistaken when you accidentally said Virgo, because per Vedic astrology, we got a stack. Okay. The eclipse is happening in Virgo. So check this out. Mercury, the sun, the south node of the moon, which is called K2 in Vedic astrology, and the moon are all in Virgo right now per Vedic astrology. So we got a heck of a lot of Virgo energy. It's like you've been getting by with doing it wrong for a long time, and now you have a choice to be humble or salty about having to do it right. Okay, you have a choice, but the corrections are going to be made no matter how you feel
Right.
about it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, for those of you who are new to 50 Essentials and Josie, I run off of Vedic astrology, but it's no better. I don't hit astrology types against each other. So I felt like it was important that Pamela said what she said before I even gave this information, to give y'all a thorough explanation of everything, because the energies may be set up different, but they're the same energies.
Yeah.
All of that emotional energy she was talking about earlier, um, the placements for that in Vedic astrology are over here with the North Node and with Neptune and Pisces. You see what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's where it's hanging out over there as far as the emotional response to everything that's happening right now. I actually took notes for y'all. So I
Awesome.
got everything sitting here. If you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. I wrote down all the placements real quick in
Excellent.
little notes.
You know
But
what? I wondered why I did this. I don't know if you noticed our thumbnail, but behind the ocean is Virgo. That's the
oh wow,
sky
I
is
didn't know.
yeah. And I was like, why am I using Virgo? Okay, spirit, whatever. You know?
I see. Oh wow. Yep. Yep. I had to go look.
It's hidden. Like
Wow.
it wasn't, it was just that's what spirit did. It was like plunk plunk, and I'm like, okay.
So yeah,
What does Virgo
we've got a
mean?
lot going on.
Like, tell me more about Virgo, because a lot of people have been asking about this, like just lately. Like, so because of in Vedic astrology, what's the difference? I guess is my question here.
Well, the qualities of the signs are the same.
Okay.
Okay. The difference in Vedic astrology is the degrees of the placements. So that's why the solar eclipse is in Libra for Western, right? But
Hmm.
it's in Virgo for Vedic. It's the difference in the degrees. The placement is just shifted, you see. But it doesn't mean that the person listening to the Western forecast is not going to get similar information.
Right.
It's going to translate ultimately to the same things, because when you're giving a an astrology forecast, you're usually not just talking about one planet and one placement,
Right.
you know.
That makes
So
sense.
they'll get the same message, just different configuration.
I totally resonate with that because I started pulling in galactic astrology and Mayan astrology along with the Western, and it's kind
Oh,
of fun to play with. Though with Mayan astrology, every single day is a different thing. Like it's not like this is the Virgo season. This it's like this day is this, and then this
yeah.
day is this for the entirety of the year, which is kind of it makes it more fun, I think.
Come on, we got this. We froze for a second
Did we?
here. Yeah, you're
Oh,
back.
well, I was talking about just using like Mayan astrology because it's like each one is for them, it's every day is a different thing. If you have like
Mhm.
three different things, like anyway, it's it's really cool to pull in all the different. That's what I was meaning to say is it's cool to pull in all the different schools of thought because
Mhm.
using them in a singular sense is not serving anyone.
No, not at all. There was a time where Western astrology was very useful to me, and I became brave enough to even utilize Vedic astrology. And I am not. I tell people this all the time. I'm not a Vedic astrologer. What I do is I prepare you to work with a Vedic astrologer.
Right.
Okay. I
Okay.
never teach anything out of my scope of practice or knowledge.
Right. So what got you into it? When did you start to explore the Vedic astrology?
In 2018, when my son randomly decided to go to an expensive school
Right on.
they didn't have on campus housing. So that meant me needing to relocate because the timing didn't give us enough time to find housing, like in a roommate situation for him. So that was a huge life moment. And everything in my soul was like, girl, you're going to need to put your big girl britches on and you're going to need to go ahead and hit up that Vedic astrology now. Like, you've been comfortable in Western, you're going to understand the Vedic astrology better now that these things are happening. And what's so wild about it is once we moved in and I got settled over there in because I moved from Jacksonville to Orlando, um
Wow.
to Winter Park to be specific. And I get there and that's when I realize I'm smack dab in the middle of a K2
Mhm.
Mahadasha. And that's when I made that first video. And I was like, y'all, this is what's happening to me. I'm in this 7-year period of blah, blah, blah. And I'm already halfway through it, finding out that I'm in it,
Yeah.
because there are some key differences in Vedic astrology compared to Western astrology. But again, that's why they all got their moving parts. Western astrology has their progress charts and their aspects and things like that. Vedic astrology has all of these divisional charts and these the mahadashas are the time periods where a planet rules over your life, and they're different lengths. And I just happened to be in a highly spiritual time period when I found out I was in the middle of it. And I was like, oh, wow. So this is what's going on. So,
Wow.
yeah,
That's
that part.
crazy. Especially having just moved to a really densely populated place
Hmm.
during all of that and like and that isn't that on a really important ley line? I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure it is. I was living in Winter Park, which is kind of right outside of Orlando. Um, I did not like Orlando. I was glad that I was where I was because I didn't really like traveling into there. It's just to me, it's a huge tourist place
Yeah, yeah,
because of Disney World. So,
of course.
you know, but Winter Park is absolutely beautiful and walkable. I love it as a town, separate from Orlando.
Yeah.
Peaceful.
Well, I'm glad you went there, but I'm also glad you don't have to do that anymore.
Nah, nah. We go through things, life happens. I've got four children, two adults, two teenagers. People generally know me to be a busy person, but no, I just schedule everything. I have
Yeah.
to schedule everything because I leave buffer room for the things that happen. That's all. I don't have to be busy. I
When
wish
when
I
was
could
it?
see these. Let me switch over because I was over here at my channel. I gotta switch over to yours because I
And
can't see the comments.
any of the comments that come from your channel should pair over here, but sometimes when we pair channels, I miss a comment here and there. I don't see every one of them, but you should see the vast majority of them over here.
Bum, bum, bum. But yeah, that's what happened with that. Oh wow, it's so much bigger. I have my computer over here so I can see
Oh, so
because I'm shooting from my phone.
right.
So much bigger. Yay!
So I have a question for you.
Hmm.
It's really because you mentioned your children and the ages and stuff, and so I thought, man, when was your awakening? When did your
Oh
awakening
yeah.
happen?
Well, everything happened for me in 2014.
Mm,
And I remember it very vividly because back then I saw people posting the time on Facebook. And at first I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, why are they posting the time? But I wasn't interested enough to do research or look into it, right?
mm.
And I swear a few months later is when I started seeing 1111 everywhere. And I thought back to when I saw people posting the time on Facebook. Back then, I thought it was just about tires and you could see them on receipts and license plates and everywhere, right? I thought
Right.
it was just a time thing. So then I finally typed into Google, why am I seeing 1111? What does this mean? And it was over from that point.
Right.
I swear, my first reading ever, I thought I was getting a psychic reading, but it was actually with a Vedic astrologer.
Oh, wow.
That was the first reading I had ever gotten, and it was with a Vedic astrologer. So I just kind of rolled with it. I didn't know nothing about anything. Okay. I grew up that weird child that just knew stuff, that
Yeah.
my energy just scared people.
Mhm.
But I didn't really associate it with anything because I grew up Southern Baptist.
Right.
No, all of that, right? In 1111, the rabbit holes commenced. Okay, I went from getting that reading to learning Reiki, then meditating, and all of this was while my life was falling apart. Like it was ending. Okay, I was getting divorced. I moved out of my house, left the state that I grew up in, and everything. When I started seeing all of these numbers, when I started meditating,
Yeah.
so from that point, I started doing qigong. I was still back in 2015. I moved here, so everything happened quite quickly for me. Like it was like a snowball.
Right.
So I went from seeing 1111 and now I live in Jacksonville and I'm getting divorced and I'm practicing Qigong and I'm meditating and I'm meeting Soul Fam. I'm meeting all of these new people that are like nobody that I've ever been friends with before. And then I'm realizing, oh my gosh, I didn't know I needed water because I thought I was Texan. I thought I was, I'm born and raised there. We love our barbecue. You can't tell me nothing. I wasn't interested in traveling.
Right.
I wasn't interested in any of that. I'm Texan. This is where we are. We're here. Big house, big barbecue pit, big trucks.
Right.
That's the life I was living. And then I get here and I'm like, I'm never leaving. I've been here 10 years because I realized that I needed the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ocean kept me here. I love the Atlantic particularly because I visited a few different oceans and the Atlantic has my heart.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I just kept learning when I got here. I did one class before I left Texas, a mediumship class, not because I wanted to do mediumship, but because I wanted to know how to protect my energy and how to actually communicate. period.
Mhm.
When I got here is when I started my YouTube channel. I've been on YouTube since 2015, y'all, but you wouldn't really know because I deleted my first channel, then I started another one, and then I started this one.
Right.
That's what happened. Because you go through things on your journey, trying to
Yeah.
figure out what to do. Um, so yeah, I just kept learning things and meeting people and learning things and becoming more activated. And the way that I figured out that was best for me to learn and grow was to create a community. So I had the meetup groups. I had the freestyle spiritual conversations going on locally. We would get together and we would just rabbit hole together and eat by the pool, like that
Yeah.
was my thing. And I would just do readings. And I literally did this. So y'all don't ever think that you cannot utilize your abilities or jump into your purpose. I did research on how to best start doing professional psychic readings,
Mhm.
especially like on YouTube. And I ran across a blog and there was a list of things to do. And one of them was to contact people who were successful already, like had a lot of followers, and offer them a reading. And I sure did. It was scary, but I did it. So
Word.
I read for, I think, yeah, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Alyssa Sharp, but I read for her and I read for the Peace Dealer. This was way back then, okay? So
Wow.
like I just kept going, but I had to take my breaks because I also had a lot of off camera stuff with the kids and rebuilding my whole life. Because when I left Texas, I left with what fit in my car. Okay. I left my whole house and everything and went and lived in an apartment and literally rebuilt and healed. I let my kids stay with their dad. They were going to school for the first 7 years after the divorce. They were with him full time and I had them during the holidays. So I took all of that time to really dig into my healing and learn all of the spiritual stuff. But again, little did I know I was inside of a K2 Mahadasha. That energy forced me to release everything, relationship, material. I became a minimalist and I started traveling. K2 did that to me.
Wow. You just told my story that I just did about that whole thing. That's interesting.
Mhm. Yeah. It's no joke going through a K2 Mahadasha in the middle of your life when you're supposed to be paying bills and raising a family and things like that. Like,
Right.
you're definitely, I tell people all the time, if you go through a K2 Mahadasha in the middle of your life, you were definitely here to affect large amounts of people because you got to be strong coming up out of there. You lose a lot.
Right.
Okay. You lose your old self. Like life doesn't look the same anymore at all. Everything completely transforms. Okay.
Right. Wow. Okay. So then
So
what happened? So like, okay, so this was how old was your oldest when this first started to happen back in 2014?
he was, I believe he was 15 when we
So
moved
they were
here
all
because
youngins at that point. Okay. Oh
yeah, the,
man,
the
that's
two
intense.
youngest ones were really young. So
Oh,
they didn't know the person that I was before my awakening. They didn't get that. My older two, they tell the stories though. Oh, they tell the stories because I was wild. I was complete. If somebody got my coffee order wrong, okay, I was the devil wears Prada. Okay, like it was serious. I was so serious about everything and so controlling about everything. Okay, like it was. I'm a totally different person. I smile and laugh a whole lot more than I did before. Like I'm definitely different.
right, right. It's a profound change in mind and body in every way. Here's a good
Oh yeah.
question. What is K2? What does K2 mean?
K2 is the south node of the moon. K2 in Vedic astrology is the tail, because Rahu is the north node of the moon and it's the head without the body, right? So K2 is the body without the head. Just put it like that. And K2, the energy of K2 forces you into all of the things, 12th house, spiritual, like literally that whole. I think K2 embodies the term, I am not the body. You know what I'm saying? It embodies that whole, I'm in the world, but not of it. Literally. It's a very strong energy when it's ruling over your whole life in that 7-year period that it does whenever you have it. And you're gonna lose a lot. But depending on how you respond to it, that's gonna be how you survive it. Because in the beginning I kicked and screamed just like anybody would. But I was brought to my knees and I had nothing else to lose. So I was like, well, might as well heal. Might as well see what this spiritual stuff is about.
Right.
You know, I have nothing else to do now.
Right.
Yeah, that part.
I have so many little. So for me, I don't know Vedic astrology. I don't know this. I'm about myself, but based on what you said, mine started in 2017 of the thing that you just the K2 thing,
Mhm.
because it went from 2017 to the beginning of 2024 this year.
Oh wow.
And so like if that was my I don't know, I'm guessing that was
Oh,
because it's 7
we'll
years.
definitely look and see, because
Okay.
there's let me see. There can be other planets that can do something similar, like Saturn. Like the two Mahadashas that you really need a lot of support on is K2 and Saturn. Okay. Saturn is going to drag you. Okay. I know someone who's in there, Saturn Mahadasha, and you know, we talk all the time, and she's just going, she be going through it. And I'd be like, yeah, this is it's gonna be tough, but you can do it, you know, because Saturn doesn't take failure as an option. So you're just gonna keep having to go through stuff until you get it.
Right. Right. Wow. Yeah, I've been really I'm going to schedule a session with you. By the way, anybody who wants to schedule, this is how you do it. Just a side note for this comment
Oh
right here.
yeah.
Hello, link tree of Fifth Essentials. That's how you go there, um, or how to schedule. So, uh, what kind of says? I'm not wrapping it up. I'm just now. I'm really can't wait till we meet. Um, what kind of sessions do you offer? Like in it just oh, it's spelled Ketu. Okay.
Yeah. I just typed that in.
Thank you.
So what I do is I facilitate spiritual experiences, okay? A lot of people, just because they see me use tarot cards doesn't necessarily mean that I actually read tarot. I don't read tarot in a traditional sense, right? I am a psychic channel. So I deal with angelic galactic beings most of the time. Um, if past loved ones come through in a reading, that's fine. You know, I work with that in the moment, but I don't necessarily do mediumship to where I'm helping people cross over, or, you know, doing counseling for past loved ones and, you know, present loved ones. I don't do that particular thing. However, if you want to connect to your spiritual team, if you want to get into the quantum field, because I am a star magic facilitator as well, and that's quantum healing. Um, that's where I'm at. I'm working with people who are actively on a spiritual journey. If you need help with meditation, getting deeper into meditation, I can help with that. You see, so you can get a reading, but the tools that I use for a reading are going to be oracle cards, tarot cards, and Vedic astrology. So it just depends on whatever I intuitively feel like I need to use for your reading. And most of them are done via Zoom so that I can record it, because there's a lot of information that comes out and I like to make sure that you can go back and listen to it. I do star magic quantum healing sessions as well. But I'm very picky about who I do those sessions for. Because if you're not ready for a fast, rapid transformation in your life, you do not want to hop into that. I also do Reiki healing. My favorite thing right now is the group meditations and light language activations that I do.
Cool.
That's my favorite thing right now. I'm telling you. And I haven't done one in a while, so I definitely look forward to scheduling one. But we come together, we all, it's whether it's on Zoom or in person, because I've done hybrid events where there's people in person and people on Zoom. And we come together as if we're doing a group guided meditation, right? But what's happening is I'm bringing you into the quantum, and I'm bringing your spiritual team in, and your spiritual team is working on you while I'm also facilitating light language activations for everyone at the same time. It's a very high vibrational container.
Yeah.
That's the best way that I can explain it. A lot happens in there. So afterwards, we come to, and we hydrate, and we try to get our senses back, and then we talk about any experiences that we may have had so that we can connect them to anything I might have said, because sometimes, symbolism comes up and I don't know who it belongs to because it's coming up during the session. But afterwards, we find out what symbolism belonged to who, and that's super fun.
Yeah. It's like a
So
little
yeah,
game.
that part. And I'm also a massage therapist for anybody in Jacksonville or Florida. I do massage therapy.
Dude, she does it all, guys. This is her website if you want to go there and schedule. So, okay. So, do you notice when you're doing massages on people who are not awake? Do you notice yourself doing energy work on them and talking, communicating with their higher self anyway?
You know what's fun is not being able to deliver messages.
Oh, wow.
When you are connected with someone on a mundane level, and you're getting messages and you're feeling energy and not being able to say anything about it, right? In the end of my sessions, usually I'll be like, you should probably eat more watermelons. That'll be, and I tie it to some kind of physical part of the body. That'll help with this, or that'll help with that. Something like that.
Yeah.
I have to mask it.
That's so hard to
Yeah.
do. And to have them hear it, to hear what you're saying.
So yeah, most of the time I kind of stay out of it, but there are some times where it's super strong and I have to be creative in how I explain things. I just do.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I do. When I see people who obviously are not practicing energetic hygiene, I do have to clear after them,
Yeah.
like right away, instead of doing my normal routine. I have to clear after them right away. And some people I already know beforehand. So I run energy, like I will start it before I start their session,
Oh, good
just
idea.
for me to be okay.
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah,
That's a super good idea too. I do notice that I'll do like a centering and a clearing before I start a session. But there are some people where you're just like, you feel like you're like, it's just like, what?
that part. And I do not like that sticky energy. I don't like it at all. It feels absolutely horrible. So in most cases, um, as soon as I even think that that's going to be the situation, I bring down, like, there's a pillar, but it's a waterfall of white light that's just falling on me the whole time I'm doing the session.
Yeah.
I'm just,
I lost her.
Constantly. Well,
That's
y'all
awesome.
are
It's
talking.
you were describing the white light and then you disappeared for a minute, but you're back. Um, this is
Really?
by the by the sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm reading. I was reading the comment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the potassium stuff has become a joke and I don't know what it is it's in the bananas, but I've noticed that there's a lot of stuff about bananas that it's like I don't know. I'm getting that the bananas aren't a healthy option for my
Well,
world.
they're super sweet. They're high in sugars. So that's a problem for a lot of people.
Right. And did you know that bananas can't actually they're not self-propagating because they have slowly engineered the banana to not have the
Mm,
big giant seeds inside the fruit that are normal for it. That's normal to have
yeah.
thumb-sized seeds in there. They have to like propagate and propagate, and this particular strain of banana is dying. And the we had one before that happened, and
Mhm.
that was what the artificial flavoring of banana was mimicked after. That's why banana flavoring doesn't taste like banana at all. That's what the banana used to taste like. Isn't that
Wow.
weird? It's so weird.
Believe it though. I definitely believe it. I've had my fair share of problems with bananas.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a thing. But I love the banana flavor, and I know that that's not it's there's something about it. And now that like they're starting to really push boiling the banana peel and drinking that to go to sleep, I'm starting to really go, okay, now they're pushing it so hard. I'm starting to go, maybe I shouldn't eat bananas at all anymore. Like,
Yeah,
you
I think
know,
it's the type. The type, like for me, I can only eat organic bananas because whatever they did to the regular old bananas, I can't do it.
yeah,
It's violent for me, so I can't even touch it. I have to have organic bananas.
yeah, yeah. There's a whole thing about this that like so do you ever do what this is what I do. You eventually our bodies I taught my body not to trust me growing up earlier years because I was just like and I didn't do this literally, but basically my body would be like, I'm thirsty, have a pound of donut, you know, like I wouldn't really take care of myself, right? And
We
so
have those moments.
yeah, I think all of us did at some point, you know, and then now I'm teaching my body to trust me. And so now we have a communication. It's taken some time, but my body will lean towards something or away from something. If it wants it, it'll lean toward it, away from it if it
Mhm.
doesn't. You'll also get like a very vague sensation of nausea if it's something it doesn't want. And you'll notice that you're like salivating, like you're drooling almost when you do want something. It's more
Mhm.
pronounced. And the banana, my mind says I want that. Like there's something there, like almost like an addiction. But my body's like, you sure? It's weird.
Yeah, yeah. And it's because of the chemicals. It's because of the, how do you say that? The alterations with the genes. Um,
Yeah,
a lot of stuff is addictive. So that's why you got that disconnection between your mind and your body. So I totally understand that response.
right,
Like you think you want something, but your body's like, yo, I know what's up. And that ain't it.
right.
Oop, I keep kicking y'all.
You're just kicking
Mm-hmm.
it. So you when you started to do sessions with people, like you said, they were like around the pool, right? You were like, hey, you
Mm-hmm.
know, let's do like readings on you guys. Did you know where it was coming from then yet?
No, when we would get together here in Jacksonville, the whole point of the meetups that were in person by the pool was kind of like a kickback. It was that classic kickback where people come together, they bring food, and we just start talking. it didn't usually start off with, hey, what's going on with the, molecular science and all this and that. We didn't start there, but somebody, every single time at some point, somebody would say one word, and after that, the conversation would just go. It could have been, oh, there's a solar eclipse coming up. And from there, we're talking about everything. Okay. We're just going. And that's what I loved about it. And it wasn't a situation where there was a speaker and it was structured. No, we would just kind of go, and it was a peer-to-peer environment, and we would just feed off of each other, and everybody would have a chance to talk about anything that they were passionate about. So we were learning and also being able to, express ourselves at the same time. And then of course we're activating each other, all being there together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that looked.
And it just naturally comes out. Did you know
Mhm.
who your channel? What was it that you were channeled yet? Like, did you?
Oh, back
When did you
then,
figure that out?
I did not know that I was a psychic channel particularly until I want to say around 2017 is when I actually realized what was happening, because during my Reiki sessions, my spirit guide would pop in. Like the very first encounter with any entity outside of myself was my main spirit guide. And when I first saw that entity, I was like, yo, no, what's going on? I'll start talking to God. Is this okay or not? What's happening? Let me know, because I was also trying to face my fears. So I was like, okay, if that thing is cool, then next time I won't kick him out of my Reiki session. You see what I mean? So then I started interacting with my main spirit guide. Literally looks like the Silver Surfer from Fantastic Four. I kid you not. Board and everything. Okay.
That's cool.
But after that, just between my research and my meditations, because whenever I meditate and I get a word I don't know, I go look it up. They know I'm going to go look it up. So when I found out about my Arcturian origins, it was, I thought they were saying Ursula from The Little Mermaid. And I'm like, okay, who's Ursula? Right? It took maybe 2 weeks before I realized they meant Ursa, Ursa, from the constellation Boots,
Yeah.
Arcturus. So I'm in the shower when I figured it out, though. I was in the shower and I had a whole situation happen where I saw myself as a fairy, but not a fairy like elemental here, like earthbound. It was a galactic fae. I had big crystalline wings, and I said, oh, this is why I don't like wearing clothes.
Hey.
Because that's all I had was them wings. I was completely nude, and I'm out in space. And I also figured out why I don't like to move fast. Like if I'm lucid dreaming, I'm not one of those people that likes to fly. I hover, you know? It's because I'm actually used to popping in and out of existence. I don't like going through anything quickly. I'm here and then I'm there. That's how I do things.
Right.
So flying is just not something I'm interested in.
That
So
makes so
yeah,
much sense for a lot of people too. Thank you for saying that.
yeah, that's how that happened. My galactic origins came in real quick. Um, through my Reiki sessions, when I would be working on people, the Arcturians would come. I call them the galactic nurses. They would come and assist me in doing light language activations. Back then, I wasn't speaking it. I would just see it. And I would let them do their thing, less work for me. I would have my clairvoyance is dominant. So I would see all of this awesome stuff during people's Reiki sessions. So I started working with the Arcturians before any other galactic interaction that I had. So yeah. Hopefully that answered your question because I don't even remember what you asked.
Well, the reason I asked when you started to channel or realizing what it was that you were channeling is a lot of people right now. I'm sure you know this. A lot of people are suddenly getting their gifts turning on.
Uh-oh.
Like so,
I
like
don't.
as dormant
She
gifts.
froze. Oh, you're back. I think.
Okay, I could hear you the
There
whole
you are.
time. Yeah, so a lot of people are getting their gifts like it was in dormancy, and now it's coming out of dormancy, and they're like, "What is this? How do I handle this? How, like, do I
Oh,
work
that was the
around this?"
question.
Right?
Okay. So
So,
I figured out for myself that when energy is coming to me, and it's not just coming to me from any direction. There were certain parts of my head where I knew that I was getting information, right?
mhm,
So whenever I would feel energy coming like to the back of my head on the right side, things like that, that's when I knew that I was channeling, you see, and I knew it wasn't just simply my thought process, because when it's just my thought process, there's just energy leaving me, because everything for me is very focused and refined. So it's a beam of something going out somewhere or coming in. So
right.
that's how I knew, because the claircognizance is a big deal for me. Like when I first started accepting that I was psychic, I had to realize, oh, these were not my thoughts, even though, because I wasn't using clear audience. They sounded like me, but obviously it wasn't me. And I was like, oh, that's what that is. As soon as I found out about the clairs, I was like, oh, that's the word for it.
Yeah,
That's what's been happening this whole time. So, everything just kind of locked in for me. So I started paying more attention to my body. Okay, what happens when this happens? Because I'm scientific minded. So I like to have like real reactions and real results. So everything that I learned, I tested it on myself, and I would start to observe myself. Oh, you were bilocating. This is why you see yourself in a completely different outfit, staring at yourself from across the room, talking to this person.
right.
You see what I mean? So I had to learn those things like on the back end, because I didn't know what they were until I got the words to them.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so pay attention to your body when the things happen, and pay attention to the patterns as well as how often they happen, because everybody works differently. Some people, they feel it in their stomach. They're very solar plexus oriented, and it, like my mom. I took her to the beach when she first moved here one time, and she got really, really sick all of a sudden, and we had to rush home. Tell me why.
Okay, I'm bringing her back.
Are
There we
we
go.
good?
Yeah, you're back.
Look, what part did y'all hear? Because my mom's
Uh,
instincts went off, but none of us knew why she got sick and had to leave abruptly. I was about to burn my apartment down. Yeah.
wow.
So yeah, you just pay attention to your body.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, and everybody's different. That's another part that's like, that's why it's so good to hear everybody's all these different stories is that, like the ones we hear most often are like the overnight change in mind and body, like somebody like deeply profound change. It feels like that when we're doing it, but most of us
Yeah.
it's more subtle. It's more gradual, where like you'll start to notice an orb
Mm-hmm.
fly by at a certain part of either your left or your right side, depending on and like you said, like a little tap, tap, tap energy in the
Mm-hmm.
back of your head, and everybody's different. But knowing what the clairs are, I don't know what they're all called. I know that they're called the clairs, and some
Mm-hmm.
is vision, some is I don't know how to say them. Um, but having the vocabulary does help in the
Mm-hmm.
spiritual community. But when you're channeling, when you're connecting, connect with your guides. That's the first thing I would suggest. Just like you had said, connect with your guides came in first. They started to and you asked, "Is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
okay?"
I went straight to
And
source with it because I had just started meditating, and the Silver Surfer shows up like, "Yo, hold up, mm-mm." Because before that, it was just colors and light. I'm like, no, no. What
right,
is this? Is it safe? That's the reason why I ended up taking that mediumship course, so that I would know what to do. Because since then, of course, there's been plenty of beings, that I've encountered. And I figured out too, because they're not all pretty. Okay, they are not
right,
all, you
right.
know, whatever our perception of beautiful is, right? So you might initially get afraid of what you see. So then I had to learn how to feel it out, because not everything that looks rough is there to get you. I had to feel the energy.
Right.
What does the energy feel like? What is this energy doing? It's just standing there. It's not coming at you. If all you feel is good energy, and like, there's no reason to fear. You see what I mean? So you
Yes.
have to learn how to make that assessment when you're dealing with random situations like that. I also had to learn how to stand in my authority when it came to just past loved ones, and any being that wanted to play with my light fixtures or my radio. I don't tolerate the messing with the electronics. I do not tolerate it. One day I stood in my living room one day, and I just, with authority, I was like, if you want to talk to me, you're going to use this Claire and this Claire. You will not mess with my radio. Like, I had to do that. But honestly, fear will cloud your judgment, and you will miss out on a lot of beautiful experiences when you sit in fear and have knee-jerk reactions, you know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm the same way. I'm the same way with people who are embodied too. Use your big girl words
That
or we're
part.
not talking, but you can hear my thoughts. I don't care. I can hear your thoughts. Use your words.
And I tell people all the time, I'm like, people that are alive and physical are, most of the time, they're more of a handful than spiritual entities.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying, they are. It's
It's
just a
so
lot,
true.
because we are everything. We are everything. We are the ghost and we are the human. Like, when you really grasp that, when you are whatever it is that you've been afraid of, like, you're that and you're this. So who's winning? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
who's really in
yeah.
charge here? You know what I'm saying? Because you are that and you're this. They are just that, and they're restricted because they don't have a physical body.
Yeah.
So don't overthink it. Stand in your authority. Again, I help people through these things because everybody's different. Everybody has different hurdles to get over, and different deprogramming. you know. So yeah.
Yeah. And we have all got this programming. Like it's all something that we're working through and we're finding. And even people who are seasoned, I would say you still get hung
Oh
up
yeah.
every once in a while. You're like, oh, I was just encouraging something and letting something go past
Yeah.
that wasn't supposed to, you know, and like to not feel bad about it, I would say, like we all, have our moments, but standing in your power, that's like I think the most
Mhm.
important message here too is that because to decide, we full on get to decide what our experience is like. Like you brought up a bunch of different times already, and starting with the story when you followed your son to college, and said, okay, we're going to live here now, kind of thing, and just all of these different experiences, you get to decide.
Yep.
And so many people talk about how they feel so powerless, like they don't have the ability to make that decision. Well, what would you tell
Mhm.
people who feel that way? Like, how would you?
Well, it's all I tell people all the time because I love to give choices. I'm a choice person. The power is in your choice, right?
Mhm.
So if you feel stuck, if you don't feel brave enough to do the thing, right? It's timing because it doesn't matter what I tell you. It doesn't matter what anybody else tells you. Oh, just work through it. Just do it anyway. That's not going to make you do it.
Yeah.
So in your time, that's when you're going to heal. In your time is when you're going to take the step that you need to take, whether it's starting a business, whether it's going to school. It is in your time because I'm not seeing out of your eyes. I don't feel your feelings to the level that you feel them. I'm not having your experience. And something as simple as some small symbolism from a trauma. It could be a spoon that's keeping you from being a millionaire. But
Right.
if you're not ready to unpack everything that's piled on top of that spoon so that you can see that that's what it is, then it's not time, right?
Right.
Whenever someone finds me, because my most recent story is someone found me on TikTok and I said, that's odd. People don't usually contact me from TikTok. But whenever I have those occurrences where people find me in odd ways, a very synchronistic way, I say, your life is about to change very quickly. If you're talking to me, if you found me like this, be aware you're about to go through some things. There's going to be some big changes and they're going to be fast. Because I think somebody's knocking. 1 second.
Okay. Well, while she does this, I'm going to mention right now we're still in the middle of the eclipse, even though you can't see it. I am most excited about the fact that it's in the Easter Island area right now, because this is like super Lemurian energy that's
Mhm.
finally coming up. Are you back? You're done with the
Yeah,
knocking?
I'm back. Go ahead. I'm
All
listening.
right. But I wanted to bring this up because a lot's happening right now that I don't know everybody knows what's going down. Like we got not everybody thinks we're talking about the new moon when we say another moon. No, 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 no. There's a second moon. It's 33 feet in diameter. I started connecting to this 2 months ago. I was talking to Elsa about it for a little bit about this vessel that's containing all these high frequency beings. It's going to look like a planet, and they're calling it a moon, and it's going to stay in our orbit for like 60 days. It's going to be
Mhm.
chilling between us and the moon that we call moon,
Mhm.
so closer. um, and it's going to be, and that they get to us, it's kind of like a remote battery. All of a sudden all your toys start to turn on. It's like
Mhm.
inside, the gifts that you have had in dormancy start to turn on. And we already knew this was going to happen 2 months ago, and here it is. It's happening, and it's happening the same time as we get this massive solar flare. And the comet the last time this comet was here was during the fall of Atlantis, and it won't be back from there in 26,000 years. Just barely went behind the sun in time for the eclipse. Like,
Mhm.
all of this stuff is all happening at this now moment that we're in. And so most people are going to be feeling kind of freaking crazy inside right now. Like, you feel like you're having a heart attack in some cases, you feel like, I know my heart palpitations last night. I was checking my pulse. I'm like, we're good. you know, there's all kinds of different symptoms. And if you do feel encouraged or need to go see a medical professional, I'm not discouraging you from doing that, you know?
Mhm.
So anyway, I just wanted to bring up all the stuff's going on right now. And so those of you who are feeling kind of funky in some kind of way about it, there's a reason for it. And there's a reason that you're here and watching Josie have this conversation, because Josie is a really good guide to help people as they're figuring out that they're in the awakening. She's somebody that I really dig hanging out with, because she just tells you how it is. Like, she doesn't sugarcoat it. She doesn't beat around the bush and do all the other bullshit that I just can't stand. And it's just so awesome to just get a straight up answer for once.
Yeah.
So anyway, Josie, I'm gonna grab your thing again. We can talk as long as you want, honestly. I just wanted to,
Well, I did want to plug something before we continue. I just thought of this and I went into the store and got all of the materials for this. I am doing a my this is happening. We're talking. Sometimes I have to tell myself that I'm talking, okay? Because when I do videos like this, channeled information does come through, okay? The way that you will know that I'm channeling is when I start laughing and smiling a lot, because that energy is very potent at those times. But tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom, I'm going to be gathering people who want to find out exactly how this eclipse is going to affect them. You need to know your birth time, because I'll be pulling your chart. And I'll also be pulling cards for anybody who doesn't know their birth time. And then I will also be doing petitions for some candle work that I'm doing, as far as this is a new moon. So I'm going to be doing some manifestation work, community manifestation work as well. All of this is donation based. So whether you're getting a reading or you're just dropping your name for the manifestation work, everybody's welcome. Even if you just want to come and just hang out, that's totally fine. But that's 8 p.m. and everything's in my link tree. It's right at the top for tonight's event.
tonight at
But
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
yeah,
that is 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I went the wrong direction, so I can't tell people in the UK and all that. I think that's midnight in the UK, but I could be wrong.
I can't stand time zone math. I could.
I know it's
It was the worst when I was in Africa. I was like, I just had so many moments.
Oh, that's rough too, man. And then everybody goes through their daylight saving a different time. For those of you who are meeting us from a different country right now, by the way, you may be going through daylight saving. We're not doing it until November now. So some people now are doing daylight saving right now, and we're not doing it for another month. And
Ah,
so it's all screwy wooey. It's such a mess.
yeah. I think
So
everything's falling into place. I tell you what, because the whole structure of time and space and all of these calendars, they knew they were wrong when they did it in the first place. So now it's correcting itself.
right. Right. I remember doing the math for the Mayan calendar, the way the calendar was kept when the Mayans wrote their calendar. Did you know that December 21st, 2012 was actually June 20th, 2020, during the eclipse over the African continent and the peak of the lockdown and all of that. Like,
Wow.
that's the plagues and the the locusts that happened because they remember they opened the
Hmm.
crypt in Egypt and all these locusts came and destroyed everything.
All of that stuff just really started going down from that point. Like, it started becoming more obvious.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cares about hiding anything right now because, you know, there's this huge truth energy wherever. Um, um, the light doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It's wherever that light shows up, it's either you're gonna accept what you're being shown with grace and you know, move forward from that point, or you're gonna be in your feelings and try to hold tightly to disbelief or to whatever programming. You know, if you're not open to change at that point, you're just going to get smacked around until you are.
Yeah.
Just say it. It's
Yeah.
just there, it's just existing, but you know, your reaction to it is everything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And something weird. This is, I don't know. I didn't know this. So other people might know
Mhm.
this. This might be regular information for other people, but I thought
Mhm.
emotions were part of me, like that they were me. And I've then came, like it was a year or two ago that spirit started to show me that emotions were actually separate consciousness,
Mhm.
and that emotion isn't actually me at all. It's just I get to choose to pick it up and carry it along down the road with me, like you would like on a pedestrian walkway. Like say you're in like
Mhm.
I don't know something really dense, like in Orlando during like tourist season, right? And like um, you can either let the pedestrians walk by you, the emotions, or you can grab onto the
Mhm.
pedestrian and say, "Talk to me," and like what most of us have been doing is grabbing it and making it sit down, and like, but they tend to be loyal. Like they're like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I'll hang out if that's gonna help, but like they'll stay forever if you don't like
Yeah.
release them.
But I think we're so attracted to emotions because on a soul level, we know that that experience doesn't exist everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we're here like that. It's literally like going to a cosmic buffet. You know what I'm saying? When you've been eating hot dogs your whole life for every meal, and then you get to come to this cosmic buffet, you know?
Yeah. Full
So
on.
it's definitely a, you know, craving, I feel, for that variety of different energies, being able to express them, because our soul knows that we're only here for that long. Even
Yeah.
though it seems long to us, we're not here long. And our soul, on our soul level, our soul is like, oh, I want to do everything, I want to feel everything, I want to be everything.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that
Your
kid that
body's
goes up
like,
to the
what?
fair and they're like, I want to do everything at the fair, and then they're like eating like a sugar can or sugar corn and cotton candy and all that, and they're also on so they get sick because they're
Yeah.
doing the rides, and that's what we ended up doing when we came here. We're like, we're doing it all at the same time.
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, dude. And
Oh
you know,
man.
I wanted to add this because you brought it up, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I should say this. Is that every time that I've had 5 clinical near death experiences. Like I've
Mhm.
died more times than that. Just those are the times the doctor said so. And each time there's always like a big group of energy that comes towards you. They're like your family is what it feels like, or your buddies or whatever. And they're like,
Mhm.
they want to know what it was like. And every time I want to share like all the awesome stuff, like the friends and the family and the celebrations, love, they know that stuff. They don't, that stuff isn't interesting to them. They want to know what suffering feels like because they don't know
Mhm.
how to experience it. They want to know what loss, grief feels like. They want to know chronic depression is something that they crave. They want to know what it's like
Mhm.
to experience the illusion of separation from others as well as from God. You can't replicate that anywhere else,
Nope. Mm,
you know,
mm,
and except here. So the stuff we
mm. Mhm.
consider hellacious or hell like is the gold.
Yep, it is. It is. And I can understand exactly why you're having that experience with them, because when I had my first conscious mystical experience,
Mhm.
it helped me understand that I could never a certain amount of love to come from any human in this incarnation. Like,
Right.
I was literally in it. I felt that love from source energy and was like, oh, my expectations were way too high. I said, oh, wow, this is this is something. Um it's so much love that, if you, because I be having cartoon moments, okay? The amount of love that I experienced in that moment could explode a person. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? That's how I felt about it. I'm like,
yeah,
the person wouldn't exist trying to give that much love. It's too much for the physical body to even hold. It's just so much. And then after I had that experience, I went and purposely sat down in meditation and specifically set the intention to feel the love that I give to the people that I love most. It ain't never been the same. I ain't never been the same. If
uh,
you've never sat down to intentionally feel the love that comes from you, you should try it. It's very profound, and it
yeah.
helps you put into perspective what you are asking of others.
Wow.
It's something.
Yeah, yeah, dude. And I know what you're talking about. That the God love is,
Hmm.
it's so you can't even describe it.
No,
Like there, I haven't
not at
found
all.
words.
No,
Yeah,
you're just literally in flux, and you're
yeah,
just there. There's no control over nothing. You're not sure if you're you or if you're everything, and you just, it's a lot.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah. Layers and layers of bullshit. Everything else.
yep. So this is why there's so many of us, and why all of us have to hold it, as a collective.
Right.
And it's still even more than that. It's a trip, all of it,
Yeah,
when you think about it.
yeah.
Oh my
Oh, that's
God.
so fitting. Yeah, it's like not for the weak of heart, I would say. Hey, speaking of the awaken, here's a good question for you from Patriot Hero, my buddy. How can I help quicken my awakening? Says Patriot Hero. That's a question direct for you. What do you
Well, because of the fact that time doesn't actually exist, right? You see, you want everything to happen right now, but just the basic desire of wanting everything to happen right now is kind of what's keeping it from happening, because you think it's not happening right now.
right?
Okay, it's happening. You're happening. I like to tell people you're a whole event. You are happening, right? So when you try to rush certain experiences because you don't think that they're happening, you're just like driving yourself nuts. There's a lot of things that we're doing that we don't know we're doing.
Right.
You have to come into the awareness that you're doing it. You have to come into the awareness that it's actually happening.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example, um, because we have been so programmed to be idle, right? And to lack self-awareness. There's people out there who you could have the lady that works in the lunch line at the school, and she's highly intuitive. She's moving based off of intuition, but doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
But the kids notice it about her. They're like, man, you already knew what I was going to choose. You already knew what I wanted to eat, because they have options there, but she's already ahead of the game the way that she's moving. She doesn't realize that that is intuitive. She's just thinking, oh, I've been doing this a long time, so I just got it down.
Right.
You
Right.
know, we make excuses for the things that we are not really paying attention to. We think it's something else going on, because that's what we were programmed to do.
Right.
So
To
whatever it
diminish
is
that.
that you're trying to make happen faster is most likely happening on some level that you have not recognized. And then the moment that you do start to notice it, it gets bigger and bigger and more obvious. So that's kind of how that works
Yeah.
from, this perspective over here. Hopefully that helped.
That's a good response. I agree. And meant, all things in spirit are gradual, because all things that spirit does is meant to last. They
Yeah.
showed me that if some of the things that we want to happen overnight did, they wouldn't last.
Yeah.
It
And
would
we
take
wouldn't exist
shock.
either.
What was that?
I said, and we wouldn't exist either if all of the things, like right now, look, check this out. For those of y'all who are not familiar with Gene Keys, okay? When I read my life's work, I I was like, no, there's no way. And then when I go to my numerology, I'm a maturity number 11, then I'm like, no, there's no, because I don't like responsibility, okay?
Yeah.
And that just seemed like a lot. I'm a 54-4 in my life's work, for those of you who do know what I'm talking about. Basically, in a nutshell, I'm supposed to Enoch out of here. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Really though? And at some point, I'm supposed to reach the zenith of all of my abilities and all this and that. And I'm like, who has time? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mentally, I'm not thinking that I want to be super psychic. I'm not thinking that I want to literally disappear with my physical body. We talk about ascension, but actually being the ascension example and Enoching out of here, that's a whole nother situation when it's time to actually do it. And I'm like, yo, that's a lot of responsibility. Like, what does that look like? When I'm there, am I still gonna be doing mom stuff? Like, wouldn't I need to be in a cave somewhere meditating to do that? So it's gonna be interesting to find out what that looks like. But consciously, I'm not here for all of that. I'm trying to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And every time there's an opportunity, I call that powder out, because that movie Powder, when he just like, he just became
Hmm.
energy.
Yep.
It's like I felt like there's a couple times in my life where that could have been something that I chose. And when it comes down to it, it's like, but wait, dude, that's something else. Is that all of these energies that have helped me, that every time I've passed, they've come through to like be like, well, how did it go, kind of thing. Is I then can
Hmm.
remember how lucky I am to be one of the ones that gets to experience this. And it's like,
Hmm.
and this is my last one. I know that. Like, not only have I gotten messages from everybody, but I just know that. And like,
Hmm.
if I decide to like, you know, jump out of here a little early, that would be a waste for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got more stuff to experience first. And like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of us already are doing what we think we're waiting to do. Like you
Yeah.
said, you're
Yeah.
still mom doing the mom thing, you're still doing, but like, look at who you are compared to who you were, even a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
let alone last year and the year before that. We on a planetary level are in a whole
Mhm.
different place. Go to 2019. That'll throw your hat off, right? Like,
Yeah,
holy
because a lot of
cow.
people don't even remember 2019. It's
Right?
like a placeholder or something. It's like, what was that?
Yeah. That was the moment before the big change is really what it
Hmm.
comes down to. And that's it. Cause you're right. Like, I remember there was chickens and goats. Like, I was on a farm, but that's all I know. Yeah. And look how we are, who we are and where we are now. And so I don't
We've
know.
made so many changes. We've made so many changes as a collective. I know it looks a mess right now, but we wanted this. We wanted the truth, didn't we? We wanted to know what was up. And
Right.
now you do. And you're going to keep finding out. That's what we wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is what it looks like.
Right.
What do you say?
You got what you asked for. And there's something to be said for allowing yourself to be okay with what you have right now, because I've watched people, in the position that I'm in, just as you, Josie, of watching people and they're awakening and they come to you and they have this stuff and they manifest. I just get it over with. I just want the band-aid ripped off. And you hear them saying it over and over again. And then one day they have a session with you and they're in a mess. And they're like, I got all these ascension symptoms. And I'm like, God, I don't know about it. It's like, it's all happening all
Ah,
at the same time, isn't it? Are you ripping that band-aid?
it's funny how some of my friends, when they tell you how they met me, it wasn't, oh, we met at this party or we met, at the park. It's never normal. It's like so and so gave me Josie's number because the numbers on the microwave started looking funny and I was trying to figure out what was going on. you know, I was having a lucid dream with my eyes open. Just
Right.
like, that's how we met through, some kind of freak out. I was seeing the shadow people, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I understand.
It's freaky when you first start to notice the microwave numbers, man. Like and like every time you look now, it's just a joke. Like right now, also I get the palindrome, the 323 is what it is right now.
Hmm.
But like,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, where it's like I can't see numbers that aren't lined up anymore. It just doesn't happen anymore. But when it's first like that, you're trying to catch a regular time and you can't look at the time and have it be like weird and like, like out of order. It's like, who's done this to my life?
Yeah, because I mean, that's initially how it starts. Who's doing this? Why is this happening to me? Right?
Yeah,
You're separated from the experience. And then once you finally accept it, then you start to learn the ropes and get your footing. And then by the time you get to where we are, you're so used to it where you don't have the same emotional response. You're like, oh yeah, because it's the new normal.
yeah,
It
yeah,
just came into our everyone's awareness on a collective level. So for them, it's the new normal, but it was always that way. It's literally just like seeing the inner workings of something. Even though you've seen the outside of it, you never were interested in how it worked or what it looked like in there. And then you see the inside and you're like, yo, it's weird.
right. Yeah, and receipts
Oh,
too, like
wow.
Michelle said, the Walmart receipts. Like I everywhere you get, it's like it doesn't matter where it's at. And and yeah, you can look up what they mean, and I did that for a long time, and now I just know what they
Hmm.
mean. But it's not like it's different every time too. It's not always what the books or the what this internet will tell you. say that most of the time when you get an angel number, it's the angel saying, "You got this. Do you see us? You
Mhm.
keep doing what you're doing. You know, be true to
That
yourself."
part.
Especially if I see my birthday, and it's like, be true to yourself. Don't forget, be your authentic self. Don't let yourself
Yep.
give away to, I'm so not a social person. Everyone wants me to be. And like I'll sacrifice myself and I'll like make myself overly social. And then I'll at a cost, and then I'll start to
Hmm.
suffer from it. And I'll see my own birthday. And that's the ones telling me, be true to yourself, at what cost. So anyway.
Claire has a question, and she's asking, has K2 South Node flipped? Maybe this is why I feel like a sand timer, right? And I think it's
Uh,
a synchronicity that she even asked that question because I just got through talking to somebody. It was in my October readings. I kid you not. I was telling somebody in one of the signs, I was telling them, hey, there's this movie or TV show. I think it's a TV series, and I forgot what network it was on. Um, I know that the Sandman is probably not the name of it, but that character is in that show, and you
mm,
end up learning a lot about the energy of the Sandman. And there is a story behind the Sandman, literally. So y'all, if you want to go and research the Sandman, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised, I think. I say pleasantly not because it's a nice story, but just there's information there. It's not just,
yeah,
oh, there's a Sandman. So I feel like the energy that Claire is going through is most likely in opposition to where the nodes are right now in relation to her actual birth placement where the nodes are. So
yeah,
it can make you feel like a sand timer.
right.
I'm just saying.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man,
So y'all look up
all
the
the things that
Sandman.
last. Like all of the lullabies and nursery rhymes, there's a reason that they're there. There's a reason that they've endured for so long. Like there's
Hmm.
something we still need to know about them,
Yep.
and so I 100% got my interest peaked. In fact, I know exactly what I'm doing when we're done with this
Yeah,
because I'm
there's
curious. I want to find out.
I believe it's Saturn. There's a
That'd be
correlation to the planets and Sandman. I just forgot which planet it was. I think it's Saturn, but don't quote me on that. There's a whole story behind the Sandman.
Man, wow. That's a whole can of worms. We could actually talk for a while about that. I'm not going to go into it
This
because
is
I
what
know we got to
happens,
get.
you see?
Yeah, dude. Um, so remind us again what you're going to do at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time.
So tonight we are manifesting together. I'm doing a community candle. I'm dressing it and everything. It's going to be all nice and dolled up for whoever wants to put their petition in. I'm going to be on a live Zoom, not a live, but we're going to be in a Zoom container. That's what I call it. So anybody who wants to find out what this eclipse is going to be doing for you in particular, and you know your birth time, I'll pull your Vedic chart. But if you don't know your birth time and you still want messages for the eclipse, I will pull cards for you, and then I'll make sure that I get everybody's name who wants to participate in the community manifestation portal. That's what I'm calling it because that's exactly what it's going to look like. Even though I'm lighting a candle and dressing it up and everything and doing all of the beautiful things that you do when you do candle work, there's a portal that's going to be coming down over it. And it's just the whole point of the candle is to ignite that portal and have it go throughout all time and space. I'll explain more then, but everything is donation based. So, and everything is in my link tree. The link tree is at the very top. I mean, the link to this event is at the very top, and it's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're gonna go and get our manifestation on and find out how we can navigate the next 6 months, because this eclipse can last all the way up to 6 months, and then we're still riding the coattails of the lunar eclipse as well. So it's energy merges, it doesn't start and stop. So if you want to make the best out of this beautiful new moon that's riding on this solar eclipse, okay, I mean, prime energy,
Right.
just saying, then
Just saying.
yeah, check us out later.
And as it's already the new moon, like we always have, is that this is when you plant what you want to sow, or
Yeah.
wait, harvest in the full moon. And so this amplifies everything. Plus we have the comet
Hmm.
that's called Purple Mountain Atlantis. The Points comet just went
Yeah.
behind. Yeah, I know. It went behind the sun just in time for the eclipse, and what the eclipse is the lineup of the moon, and
Hmm.
then we have another moon, and there's so much happening all in this window, and like there's just uh also Maki
Uh-oh.
Maki, which is
Come back.
a dwarf planet that people don't talk about that's in our orbit, is well
Hmm.
placed. So we'll be able to see it tonight too, by the way. It's all gonna be lined up all in a big line. It's gonna be really cool. There's a lot going
Hmm.
on. So if you guys get a chance, right now is the energy like this. It's all converging now to meet up. I would actually join if I didn't have a group myself going on at that same time. But if we get done, and I'm gonna go click it and see if you guys are still going, because I don't know. But
Oh yeah.
a lot's happening right now. And then Josie is also available for other sessions. She does one-on-ones, group sessions, and
Hmm.
if you're near to her, she also does massage and Reiki. Man, she does everything, don't you, Josie?
Yeah, that's why it's a lifestyle company. It's marrying wellness with spirituality, because I wasn't meant to do the same thing day in and day out. And with massage therapy, the only reason why I'm even talking about it is because it happens to be the thing that's on right now for me.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm having to tell people, hey, you know that you can schedule a reading, right? Just because I'm doing all of this massage doesn't mean I have to be doing it. It's about who schedules first.
Right,
So I'm like, I don't have to be doing these things. You can get a reading. As long as you're there, nobody else can get that slot.
right, right,
you know I'm not doing, like, a lot of people think that when from the moment I wake up, I'm going, but I set my day up to where I have space to meditate.
yeah.
I like
You
to try to
have
sit
to.
down and eat whenever I can instead of eating on the go. There's space in my day. So I'm never going to schedule anything back to back, because first of all, I'm driving everywhere I go when I'm doing the massages in person. So I'm not seeing, people are not coming to me to where I'm just switching out bodies all day. No, we're not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, you can schedule a personal session. Yes. And there's directions on my link tree.
Which is here on the comments that's popped up below my screen. I don't think that's how it's oriented for everybody else. The link tree /fifth essentials. And also, I've linked Josie's YouTube channel to this broadcast as well. Um, and you can see right here, this is actually her comment. That's why I've been using it so much, is so you can see that's how you find her on YouTube too. If you're interested, I always like to pop in, and sometimes I don't know, I don't have the chance to, because I'm like doing something to
Hmm.
comment. But lately, Josie's been going live more, and so it's really cool. Like I love the when you, especially there's been times where you jumped on live in the middle of the night, like you can tell you're still kind of asleep, and like some cool stuff comes in. So I
My black
encourage,
screen moments.
right. I encourage
That's
everybody to subscribe and click that bell because you never know when Josie's going to go live.
that's because when I have those moments with the black screen, that's one of those, hey, we got some big energy that you need to put out there. It's one of those, it literally feels like if you have to use the restroom, except for you're not feeling it down there in your root chakra, you're
Yeah.
feeling it in your head. You
Yeah.
have to get it out in order for your body to even feel okay when I do those.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Cool.
info that comes out for those. But yeah, I just did the October videos as well for the zodiac signs. So definitely want y'all to go check those out for your sun, moon, and rising. And it doesn't matter whether it's Vedic or Western when you're listening to the psychic readings. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely,
Um,
it's awesome. So, and then again, you're meeting tonight. So anybody who wants to jump onto that, the website's there. And then there's a link inside where people can click the or something
mhm.
for the group that's already established for it's at 8 p.m. Let me say the time zones right before I forget to do it. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and that would be 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. How long do they usually last for? How long do you usually go for?
Did you just ask me something?
Yeah, sorry. How
It,
long do you think that will go? Like,
well, it just depends. It's going to go until nobody's there or
mhm,
until we want to leave. So
okay,
I highly doubt that we're going to be done in 2 hours. You see what I
okay,
mean?
cool,
It just depends on how many people show up.
right,
We like to flow for as long as possible. And when I intend on this type of stuff, I have the energy to do it.
cool,
I'm doing another meditation before I even hop on that one because I've been living in this energy today. And
yeah,
it's awesome. It is awesome. I meditated earlier today and kind of came out feeling fluffy. And
awesome,
so there's no telling how I'm going to be feeling for this one. But anytime I set an intention, I'm there. I'm a generator for those of you who don't know. So um, when I want to do something, I have the energy to do it.
great.
That's how that works.
Well, then you'll see me if you're still going when I'm done with our
Hmm.
group. Cool.
I
Well,
plan
thank
to
you.
party hard.
It's gonna be awesome, and there's gonna be more coming in. So, I mean, and down the road, if anybody wants to schedule with Josie, there's her link. And I just want to grab everybody's comments saying thank you. There's a
Oh,
lot of
you're
really
welcome, love.
beautiful people here. I've acknowledged you and seen all
Hmm.
of your comments. Her picture here wants to just rip off the band-aid. I know, but then when you're doing it, then you sometimes will second guess yourself.
I
But
mean, we get tired too. There's still things I haven't experienced or seen. We get frustrated and tired too. Like, and I say it out loud. Like, I
yeah.
talk to spirit just like this. I'm like, really? We're doing this today? Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, who has time? I argue and I fuss, but I get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's worth it in the end. But yeah, I'm the
Mhm.
same person too. I was like, come on, I don't want to. Sometimes that's how it goes. But we know what we're doing when that when what we're doing and whatever spirit brings in is for your highest joy and highest good. You can feel it,
Mhm.
you know it. I can tell you, I just want to be in a place of rest right now. So anybody that's feeling this energy in an unpleasant way, I encourage you to hydrate, ground, and meditate. Those are my three go-tos when it comes to
Yeah.
this stuff. And all of whatever the stuff is at that moment, those are the answers. So please keep that in mind because so far the X-ray go flux still hasn't shown us when the impact on the planet is going to be for this X 7.15 solar flare. So it's a big one, and it's during the Russell I always say the last part wrong, McFerrin or something, um, effect, which means the sun and the earth are more aligned during the equinox. They're usually off,
Mhm.
kind of like this right now until the end of the month, where it's like full on, and so anything that comes from the sun is like direct punch instead of side glance. So yeah, we're gonna get this energy. So when it comes, best thing you can do for yourself, having palpitations, feeling unsteady, rest, meditation, hydration, ground, grounding barefoot in the grass and the soil and the wherever. Water's really cool right now. Uh, thank you, Josie, for joining me today and for being in this conversation for so much longer than you had agreed to do.
Well, I wasn't even thinking about it because there's such a gap of time. So it didn't matter to me because I wasn't doing anything right after. You see?
Good.
Did that on purpose. But no problem at all. And I totally agree about the water. I've been extra thirsty since yesterday, so I'm feeling the water thing.
Yeah,
Um and yeah, do listen to your body. And if you need to seek medical attention, please do. Don't sit here and try to spiritualize everything.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Go, because everything starts in the energy and then it gets to your body and it manifests physically. So, sometimes you can catch it when it's just energy, and sometimes it's already made it to your body and it's a thing now.
right,
you
right.
know? So that part.
Exactly. Thank you for that. It's very useful to hear that. Um, and to keep that in mind for everybody. So thank you all. You got this. Also, I will see everyone on Friday for the free group Zoom meeting. And if I don't see you then, I will see you on Sunday for the live then. Thank you, Josie.
Awesome. Thank you